Your computer.
Now that's what she says, recording in progress. All right, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just 2 short minutes here. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully you're in the right place. This is the Watershed Management Group intern panel. So we're going to be diving in to more about the WaterWRLD internship. And this is in partnership with the University of Arizona. So it is an internship reserved solely for U of A students. So hopefully you're a U of A student. I will be going over the agenda a little bit later, but if you have any questions that come up during the presentation, please put them in the chat and we'll be going through those at the end. So we will have a portion at the end for Q&A with our panelists and myself. So please don't hold your question till the end. You can pop it in the chat, but we will wait till the end to address your questions. Any questions before we get started? It's 5:30. I see lots of folks signing on. So we'll give it a couple minutes just for any stragglers. Thank you all for being here. Hello. I can only see like 6 of you at a time, but I see a lot of folks joining the call. So thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, we're going to get started. Welcome, everybody. My name is Cindy Hu, and you are hopefully here to learn more about the WaterWRLD internship program. I work at a local nonprofit in Tucson called Watershed Management Group, and I'm the internship program manager. So likely you've gotten an email from me if you have applied already for the internship, or if this is the first interaction, we're here to learn more about the internship program. So today is your opportunity to get all of your questions answered. If you are on the fence about applying for the internship program, this is your opportunity to get your questions answered by myself and also some current and former Watershed Management Group interns. So we're going to go ahead and get started because we do have a packed schedule. Thank you all so much for being here. So again, welcome. My name is Cindy Hu, and we have some lovely panelists, which I will be introducing later. And you're here to get your questions answered. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat, and we will be addressing them at the end. I want to start with our land and water acknowledgement. WMG acknowledges that we live and learn and work and engage with the community on the ancestral lands of the Hohokam, the Sobai-Puri, and Apache people, and those of the Pasquayaqui and the Tohono O'odham, whose relationship with the land continues to this day. And we acknowledge that water in the Sonoran Desert is of spiritual, physical, and ecological significance to be protected, cherished, and celebrated. And we definitely invite you to learn more about the indigenous communities that have inhabited this area before. It's something that we have definitely delved into with the internship program. And it's an exciting and fascinating thing. I'm not originally from Tucson, so I'm constantly learning things about the native foods that were eaten long ago, and it's all really fascinating. So I wanted to start off by setting the tone for today's meeting with our land and water acknowledgement. And you can learn more about our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts on our website. I also wanted to share our 50-year vision. It's a very ambitious vision, but we envision bringing our rivers back to life. So if you have lived in Tucson for a while now, you might have driven over or walked over an overpass. And for the most part, our rivers, or as people in Tucson like to call them, our washes, are dry. But historically, that wasn't the case. And our 50-year vision is to bring back and restore our rivers. And actually, we have a really fun challenge going on to guess the flow of the Riito River, how many days it'll flow. So you can learn more about that on our various social media accounts. And this is what that would look like. So this is a thriving ecosystem. You can see there's lots of critters in the photo. This is what we want our rivers to look like. And we do think it is a lofty goal, but we really feel that we can achieve this. And this is what I want to see when I go to a river. I want to see beavers. I want to see the heron. I want to see fish. I want to see birds. This is just beautiful. And this is what one of those overpasses would look like if we had our flowing rivers year round. So people exploring, walking around, checking out the flow, riding their bikes. It's just amazing. And so that is something that we're working on as part of our River Run Network initiative. And we actually have our program manager for the River Run Network on the call. So if you have any questions about these efforts, you can reach out to Lauren, or you can ask her more when we get to the Q&A portion. For tonight's agenda, well, we already had our introduction. We're going to dive into the intern panel. Then I'm going to go into the application and selection process for the internship program. I will cover the open positions for this year, talk about some important dates for you all to be aware of, and then we'll end the session by going into our question and answer. But if you have any questions throughout today's session, please feel free to pop those in the chat and we'll address them at the end. I also have some really awesome photos of different creeks from all over Tucson. So you'll hopefully enjoy those on the different PowerPoint slides. I already introduced myself, but I'm going to introduce myself again. My name's Cindy Hu. My pronouns are she, her. My title at Watershed Management Group is the Community and Youth Education Manager. I've been at WMG since September of 2020, and I get to work on all kinds of fun stuff. But one of my main roles is I'm the WaterWRLD Internship Program Manager. So I oversee the U of A cohort, which typically averages anywhere from like 6 to 10 students. And another program that I manage is our Family Saturdays program, which is a program that I developed and launched back in May 2021. And we're currently hiring for an environmental education intern. So if you are interested or excited about connecting youth to sustainability, sustainable living skills, nature, this role's for you. So I will be managing that position. So if you have any questions about the environmental education, I'm happy to answer those at the end as well. And here's me at Family Saturday. Like I said, I get to have a lot of fun. People are always like, what does she do at this organization? Because I'm like singing songs and I'm doing story time. I get to take all of this awesome information that we share with the community and kidify it, make it fun for youth and their families. So I manage a program called Family Saturdays, which is every third Saturday of the month. And actually, we have one coming up this weekend where we're going to be teaching families how to build their own basin. So we're excited to distribute some free rain garden kits. You can get a free tree, a free shrub, some wildflower seeds, some mulch. We'll give you the education on how to build a rain garden, and then you can take home a free kit. So if any of you have, sorry, I can't turn it off, a shameless spiel for my program, I definitely invite you to come out this Saturday to the Living Lab and learn about rain gardens, and then you can take home a free kit. But it is reserved for families. So ideally, you'd be showing up with your children. All right, we're going to dive into the intern panel portion. So Lauren, if you could please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your internship role, your role now as a staff member, and then if you could also address the following question: in what ways has this internship increased your curiosity or awareness about new content or issues?
Hi, everybody. Okay, I have my video on. I've been having spotty internet, so in case I freeze, somebody let me know and I'll turn my video off, but hopefully you can hear me okay. My name is Lauren and I am Watershed Management Group's River Run Network Program Manager. And I'm really excited to be talking to you all today about our internship program. Like I said, I now work at Watershed Management Group, so spoiler alert, I was hired through this internship, which is really an exciting story and something that I really love to talk about. So Cindy, you can go to the next slide. What is our River Run Network? So this is a really great depiction, this photo. Our River Run Network is our community group who are people in the Tucson community working to restore Tucson's heritage of flowing creeks and rivers. So those lovely images that Cindy showed at the beginning of this presentation and this event tonight are really part of our 50-year vision to restore those creeks and rivers, and a great depiction of who we are and what we do and what I do as well. You can go to the next slide. So a lot of what I currently do in my staff position at Watershed Management Group is what I was doing as an intern too. So I was an intern from 2018 to 2019. I was attending events, really supporting Watershed Management Group and the River Run Network with community interaction, helping people to understand what we do, and really being able to have fun with it. This photo is from a creek walk that we did along the Agua Caliente Creek, and you can see lots of people have their feet in the water. They're listening to one of our staff kind of talk about this area, the importance of flow in our creeks. And I also got to work on our Flow 365 community science monitoring program. You can go to the next slide. And that's been a big passion of mine. And so I started out as an intern through the Flow 365 program. I was doing the monitoring, so I was on the ground, and you can see one of our volunteers in this photo. So she's got her phone out and she's taking pictures, and that's part of what we ask these volunteers to do. So as an intern, that's what I was doing. And it was really inspiring because one of the things that I was really curious about, to answer Cindy's question, was what's really happening with the flow in Tucson. So I went to the U of A, and my major was watershed hydrology and management. And so I was learning about GIS, graphic information systems, and really understanding the watershed from this simulation perspective, but to really see on the ground work, volunteers collecting data, understanding what the flow is doing, and what's happening in our creeks and rivers in Tucson was really impactful for me. So I'm really excited to be able to work on this program and to really support the volunteers in this staff role, and continue to learn about everything that's happening in our creeks and rivers, and really be able to use that data to support our 50-year vision, along with the restoration work that we are doing through Watershed Management Group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. All right, our next panelist is Trent. So Trent, if you could introduce yourself, explain your internship role, and if you could address the following question: what new insights did you develop regarding your career plans as a result of this internship?
Thanks, Cindy. Hi, everyone. My name is Trent Blomberg. I am the Conservation Ecology Intern this year at Watershed Management Group. Like everyone in our current cohort, I've been on since August, and it'll run through May. So the school year, it'll be a little different next year, but that is our cohort for this year. A little bit about me before I get into my role. So I'm currently getting a master's in water society and policy at the U of A. So it's basically like water management, water policy. So a group like Watershed Management Group fits very well, water in both names. And before coming to Tucson for grad school, I was working out in DC on like energy policy, and I'm originally from the Midwest. And so you can be a little older out of undergrad, you can be in undergrad with no work experience. There's a lot of different opportunities at WMG, which is great. So my specific role, what I have been working on are beaver surveys. You may have seen some advertisements for this around campus or something like that. So basically what we're doing is monitoring the beaver population down on the San Pedro River, which is about like an hour and a half southeast of Tucson. That might be a shock to some of you that there are beavers in Arizona. They are actually native to almost the whole state. Sadly, we're kind of wiped out with fur trading, but there's some back, and so we're monitoring them, and that's just one of the many cool community science activities that WMG does to get people involved, let people be part of the environment, the monitoring, all of that, not just a top-down approach. So they're actually hiring for my role again next year. So you might not do exactly what I did this year, but you will probably do something very similar if you're the conservation ecology intern in this upcoming cohort. So this is just some bullet points here that I can kind of touch base on what you're going to do with the beaver survey. So this one's a lot of kind of behind the scenes planning, logistics, data collection, data management. You'll certainly do a lot of training, education, volunteer outreach, but that's not necessarily the focus. But the fun thing was I got to do a lot of different things. You'll see there a lot of planning of the logistics of data collection, GIS, field work, recruiting volunteers, training them, a lot of different things to plan the survey, which is probably the bulk of my work. And then I also have been summarizing, analyzing the data, the results, cleaning up, trying to see how many beaver are currently living down there. And then kind of like a bonus activity is a happy hour event we're having to celebrate beavers and share our results. And so I've been helping with event planning. So a lot of different opportunities, and then a couple other people on the panel will talk about some work they've done with education, invasive species removal, and I've gotten to help out on those as well. So you don't have to be limited to your one role or one activity. Cindy, you can go to the next slide. So just for people curious about the beaver surveys, whether you're applying for this position or just think it'd be fun to volunteer next year, because we do this every year. So it happens down by Sierra Vista. We have a couple dates, typically November and December. We had to push one back this year. It's kind of an all-day thing. You're out scrambling along the river, bushwhacking. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of intense, but it's great. You're hiking for a few miles on the river, and you're entering anytime you see evidence, and it's a lot of fun. I've had a great time. And then my final thing is on Cindy's question of how this internship has kind of shaped my career trajectory and what I'm looking for after graduation. It's really been helpful for me because I've only worked with really large, like multinational companies or like state, federal government. And that's an interesting experience, but I've never been with a small local organization or a nonprofit. And if you're looking to try that out, WMG is excellent. It's got so many connections in the community and the city. It's just really opened my eyes, and I think that's what I'm looking for post-graduation, is something a little smaller, a little more close-knit, and a nonprofit. So it's been a great experience, but I'll be happy to answer questions at the end, but I'll pass it off to you for now, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Trent. All right, we have our next panelist. Anthony, if you could introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your internship project, and address the following question. How has the mentorship program enhanced your professional or personal experience development?
Thank you, Cindy. Hi, everybody. My name is Anthony. I am from Puerto Rico. My main role is environmental education intern, and they are hiring for this position. And it's been an amazing experience because for me, water in Puerto Rico, it rains every day. It's humid, and coming here last August, it's like, oh, it's dry, it's not raining. I need to understand. I need to look something to understand how people see water. So Watershed has given me that space to understand that. Also, I am a PhD student at the College of Education in Teaching, Learning, and Sociocultural Studies. So my main role is Family Saturdays, to coordinate manage outdoors activities related to water and creating awareness. As you can see in the picture, it's very awesome. As a former teacher, working with kids, with youth, it's stuff that I love to do. Another thing that I do, it's rain garden for youth. It's planned and lead, build your own basin program, and also outreach. We do to help to bring more Latino community families to Watershed. Answering your question, Cindy, I believe that water management group has helped me to meet new mentors, colleagues, and to have opportunities to explore how to integrate knowledge of environment into daily life. Also because I was able to participate in Family Saturdays and engaging youth and water conservation, I felt inspired. Now I am integrating those stuff to my PhD. I have decided to do a minor in environmental education thanks to Watershed. Also, I chose to minor in environmental education given the fact that I have gained exposure with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I continue applying it into my classrooms. Also, by creating awareness about the use of natural resources for human life. I mean, I must say this is something that has changed my life personally and professionally. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Our next panelist, Matthew, if you could introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your internship role, and if you could address the following question. How has the internship built upon what you learned from your educational experiences in the classroom?
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me all right? Okay, awesome. I'm Matthew Jensen. I am an undergraduate in my sophomore year, and I'm actually majoring in statistics with minors in Spanish and ecological biology, so kind of all over the place. But yeah, I had no prior work experience before this internship, and I was really happy to join Watershed Management and gain like very valuable experiences. So my main project is the Arundo removal in the Tanque Verde because it's an invasive species that takes up a lot of water. During my time in this project, I was able to do a lot of community outreach through presentations to various student groups and other volunteer groups, as well as other contacting methods such as like outreach emails and outreach calls. This really helped me build interpersonal skills. And also when I led workshops in the field, it meant that I was gaining experience on the job and using leadership and communication skills to help take on this task. Besides that, I also helped design and develop the Flow and Feast event that's coming up in 2 weeks. It really gave me an insight into the processes behind developing large-scale projects, as we'll have, I believe, over 70 volunteers there, or at least that's what we're planning for. And then it really helped me, the planning and participation of this really helped me see how nonprofits and businesses in general like work internally, externally, which was very insightful. And then I helped lead the beaver survey. I know Trent did most of the work on that, but I went out with one of the groups and took 5 or 6 volunteers out there. I led them for 2 or 3 miles. And this really made me aware of how to handle a group in an outing like this, thinking about like timing, pacing, and especially the safety of the group. So I was really glad to be a part of that. And then one of the other projects I worked in was planting rainwater gardens, where we put in native plants, basins, we put in rocks and created sort of like a small ecosystem that would put water into the ground. I think this really helped me learn about water flow on a smaller and more understandable scale. I found it very educational, and I think it was very nice to do because my main project is taking out bad plants or invasive plants. So it was really nice to put in native plants that it felt helpful. If we could go to the next slide, that would be great. So for the workshop specifically, the main thing is that Arundo is an invasive plant. It's very bad. We brought it here for decoration, but it takes 3 to 4 times more water than native plants. So that's really bad. This can have ecological impacts on plant and animal life in the area, especially native species, and can make droughts worse. So we want to remove them through workshops. They're located in the Tanque Verde Creek, which is a 30-minute drive east of campus. And the hardest part is actually, for me at least, is getting there and getting there on time. But there are carpool options if you don't have a car. So we're always trying to make sure everyone can be included. The process itself has 4 major steps. We cut it at the stem. We dig up the roots. We usually cut it at the stem, haul them away, and then dig up the roots. I have that a little wrong there, but oh well. And then we mulch it. We send it away to be mulched, so it's not just going to landfill. So in the past, I think 2 semesters, we've removed 40 tons of arundo, which is a lot. And our goal is complete eradication in the Tanque Verde in 3 to 5 years. And we've actually seen good impacts coming from this. In the last water year, we had 288 days of continuous flow. So it shows that we're really having like a real and lasting impact, and that feels really good. And then if you look at the pictures to the side here, this is a before and after of an arundo stand, and you can see how much we actually removed in one day, which is a 4-hour workshop. So as for the question about building upon what I've learned in the class, I think that the field work really helped me build upon my educational experiences, especially with my minor being ecological biology. Being able to go in the field, see the processes, see water flow, see animal life, and see how they react to different environmental pressures really helped me. And I think this can be a good thing even if you're not in a minor or major like this. But being able to see what an invasive species can do and see it starting up in different rivers and creeks is very interesting. And I think that we can all benefit from thinking in terms of watersheds.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So our panelists will be hanging out once we cover the application process. They will be around to answer your Q&A. I will be here as well to answer any questions and answers, or to answer any questions with some answers. So please keep popping that in the chat. I think I see some question already, but we are gonna wait till the end to address that. So if anything that the panelists have shared up until this point has brought up some questions for you, please go ahead and put those in the chat. But thank you so much to our amazing panelists for taking the time to share about their experiences as interns. 2 things I want to highlight is, so Anthony, who is my intern and has been amazing. Trent, you're awesome too, obviously. But I've gotten to work really close with Anthony, and he's participating in this program through the College of Education through the Paul Lindsay program. So if any of you are from the College of Ed, there is like a scholarship offered through the Paul Lindsay program. So he's participating through that program. And then actually Matthew is participating through the Earth Grant program. So if any of you are interested in participating through Earth Grant, you can ask him questions about that. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the internship. So what is this WaterWRLD internship all about? Well, you do get class credit. And so that is something that you would initiate through your advisor. So you can enroll in 3 units per semester. So for a total of 6 units for the year. Every department is different. So I won't know what your particular process is. So the best way to, and I don't work at the U of A. So the best way to get more information about how to get class credit is to reach out to your advisor. So if you're thinking about taking this, about applying for the internship and getting class credit, that is something that you initiate through the U of A. So go ahead and contact your advisors once you know that we've accepted you into the internship program. We do require that you commit to 2 semesters. So whether that's the summer and the fall or the fall and the spring, we do want you to commit to 2 semesters because in the fall, we'll be doing a bulk of your training. So and we do require that you're available on Friday afternoons from 3 to 5 in the fall. That's when we do our fall training. And it's really fun. It's weekly experiential education workshops, collaborating with your intern cohort. So there'll be other students that you're going to be working with, as well as a cohort of docents. So we have docent volunteers that also participate in the fall training program. So it makes for a really fun bunch of people coming together and learning together. So we definitely require that you participate in those Friday sessions in the fall. So start thinking about accommodating Fridays from 3 to 5 into your schedule if you want to participate in this program. We do offer flexibility. We know that things pop up like personal events or things like that, but what you get out of this internship is what you put in. So knowing now that you have to show up for these Friday sessions, we do hope that you will accommodate that in your schedule, since there won't be a ton of opportunities to make up that information. So please accommodate that in your schedules now if you're thinking about participating in the program. The requirement for the internship is 150 hours each semester. So over the course of your 2 semesters, you would have completed 300 hours. That averages to about 10 hours per week. Of course, we know that you're students, and that's first and foremost, like your education. So there's flexibility. If one week you work 5 hours, then you make it up the next week, right? So 10 hours is just to give you kind of an average snapshot of what your week would look like. But of course, there's flexibility with that. I already talked about the Friday sessions. So most of them are typically at our Living Lab and Learning Center, which is really close to the U of A. I know I have, like, my intern rides the bus and bikes. So you can definitely get to us pretty easily from campus or the bus. And you can also drive too. So most of the program is in person. So these Friday sessions are in person. We expect you to show up at the Living Lab in person, ready to participate. But we are still living in the reality of COVID. So there are virtual options that you can work out with your supervisor. So whether that's like a virtual meeting or working remotely from home or from wherever, from campus, that's definitely part of it. But the bulk of it will be an in-person internship. So I definitely want you all to be aware of that we do expect you to participate in person, but there will be opportunities to participate virtually as well. And really exciting this year, we are able to offer an amazing stipend. This is through a partnership with the U of A through the RISE program. So this is something unique that we weren't able to offer last year. So we're offering a $4,500 stipend, which is $2,250 per semester. So, but there are requirements. So you have to be enrolled in a degree seeking program in order to qualify for that stipend, because it is paid out through the bursar's office. So my hands are kind of tied there. You do have to be enrolled in a degree seeking program in order to be eligible for the stipend. If you are interested in participating in the program and not receiving that stipend, that's a conversation that we can have, certainly. But if you are hoping to receive that stipend, we do require that the U of A requires that you are in a degree seeking program. So who is eligible? Well, University of Arizona students, bear down. I'm actually an alum of U of A myself. I graduated from the College of Education with a master's in education. So I am familiar with the U of A, and we do try to line up our dates with the U of A calendar. So we don't require any internship hours during the spring break. We don't require anything during the winter break. But if that's your option, right? If you are behind on your hours or you want to work during those times, you are welcome to, but we won't require it. And so I am always following the academic calendar. If there's like a reading day or a school closure, we'll honor that, and we won't have internship sessions on those days. And the program is open for both undergraduate and graduate students. As you saw on the call, we have an undergraduate, we have a PhD student, we have a master's student. So as long as you're in good standing and have a 2.5 GPA or higher, we'll definitely consider you for this internship. All right, and a little bit about the application and selection process. So the application packet changed a little bit from last year. We are no longer requiring a cover letter, but we are requiring a 1-page resume. It can be longer than that, but keep it concise. And then the WaterWRLD application form. So you can find this application form on our website. And it does have, because we omitted the cover letter as one of the requirements, there are three essay questions that are part of the application. So please be sure that you fill in those essay questions since that is taking the place of the cover letter. And then you would email these materials to me. So my email is listed here. It's chu@watershedmg.org. And the application deadline is April 9th at 11:59 p.m. So you have the whole day to get it done. The earlier, the better. I've already gotten a ton of applications already, and I definitely like skim them and review them as they come in. You all have an edge because now I'm going to remember you from the panel. So thank you all for being here. But yeah, if you haven't gotten your application in, make sure that you get it to me by April 9th. Because I will definitely be giving priority to folks who meet that deadline. If there's still positions that are open after the deadline has passed, we'll be filling those on a rolling basis. But ideally, I do want to get the cohorts finalized by April 9th so that we don't have to bother you during the finals and all of that stuff, right? We want to have all this wrapped up before May time. What does the selection process look like? Well, step one is that the selection committee is going to review the application. So like I mentioned before, I've already received applications, so I've been reviewing those as they come in. And then we'll be setting virtual interviews. There are 30-minute interviews via Zoom. And so that will likely be an interview with me and then whoever your potential supervisor is. So if you have looked at the application form on our website, you'll notice that there is a ranking system. So I've asked you to rank your top 3 positions and also to indicate which semesters you're looking at. So are you looking at summer 2023 to fall 2023, or are you interested in the fall 2023 to spring 2024? Really important that you indicate that to me so I know which position you're looking at. And yeah, we'll set up those virtual interviews with your potential supervisor. So it is a game of chess, right? I'm trying to give everybody their number 1 or number 2 option, but it doesn't always work out that way. So I do the best that I can, given like there's going to be a lot of applicants wanting the same position, right? So, and then the last step is that once you do your interview, I'll have a discussion with the supervisor, we'll finalize our selections, and then you will receive an offer letter via email. Important dates. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. So important dates. So right now it's March, so I'm definitely still in the thick of recruitment. So you'll probably still be getting like information from your advisors about apply for this internship. Actually, I will be on campus on this Thursday at room S210. They changed the room on me. That's okay. It's right next door to what we've been advertising. So I'll be on campus. If you're still not convinced or you have more questions, you want to meet me in person, if you want some tips on your application, whatever it may be, or maybe you have a buddy or a classmate who's interested in the internship, please come out and meet me on Thursday at 5:30. I'll be on campus doing a similar presentation, but I'll be in person to answer any questions as well. And then, yeah, the application is due on April 9th. And on the week of April 17th, I anticipate that we'll be doing interviews via Zoom, as I mentioned. And then in May 1st, you would get your offer letter if you are offered the position. May 8th, we would, obviously it's a two-way street. So I'll send you an offer letter. If it's accepted, we'll move forward. If it's not, then I'll go to the next candidate. So that takes some time, but then we'll finalize our selections. And then depending on if you're looking at the summer cohort, so I'm going to talk about the summer first. So if you're interested in summer 2023 to fall 2023, you would be meeting your supervisor on May 15th. Again, I'm lining this up to the U of A calendar, so I know that that's the first week that summer classes start. So that would be the week that you would meet with your supervisor, either virtually or in person at the Living Lab. And then your summer internship would officially start on May 22nd. If you are interested in the fall 2023 to the spring 2024 internship cohort, you would meet your supervisor in August on August 14th, and the fall internship would officially start on August 18th. This is something new that we're doing this year, where we're going to have 2 cohorts, and we want to create a staggering effect. So you might have noticed that we're hiring 2 environmental education interns, one for the fall, one starting in the summer and ending in the fall, and one starting in the fall and ending in the spring. And then the idea is that we're creating an overlap with those 2 interns to create better synergy, for them to help each other out throughout the internship process. So that's something new that we're testing. So if you caught on to that, that's why we're doing it that way. So yeah, these are important dates to be aware of. If you've already turned in your application, you would have gotten this in an email. And these are the positions that we're currently offering. So I alluded a little bit to the 2 cohorts. So if you're interested in interning with us in the summer and ending in the fall, the 3 positions that we're hiring for are conservation ecology. So that's the role that Trent was talking about. Environmental education, that's the role that Anthony was talking about today. And then the River Run Network and education and outreach. And it's very similar to the work that Matthew was doing. If you are interested in the fall 2023 to the spring 2024, we're hiring for all those same positions. So the conservation ecology, environmental education, River Run Network, education and outreach. And in addition, we have 2 bonus roles that we're hiring for. So one is the community engagement and outreach position. And this is a newer position, but it would be to support our outreach efforts, and specifically our Build Your Own Basin program, which some of our panelists have been talking about today, and then the urban sustainable living position as well. So definitely offering a couple more positions starting in the fall. But if you're ready to go and you want to apply for the summer, we definitely encourage you to do so. All right, and what are the benefits? I've already talked about a lot of the things that you can get out of this internship. You can get academic credit, you can get that awesome stipend to pay for whatever it is you need, your books, your housing, whatever it is. One of the other things that you're going to gain is you're going to increase your understanding of community-based conservation and restoration opportunities for the Santa Cruz River watershed. We all drink water, so this is relevant to all of us. Right now you're living in the desert, and we're a desert community, and we all need water to live. So this, if you drink water, this internship applies to you. You don't have to be a student from the School of Natural Resources. We all drink water. It's relevant to all of us. So you're going to gain a better understanding of your watershed here in Tucson. In addition to that, you're going to be able to build relationships with professionals, not just WMG staff, but also we partner with a lot of other organizations in the community. So you're going to get the opportunity to network. Like, for example, Trent was with the Beaver Survey, was working with the BLM and other organizations. And like Anthony has been able to work with Tucson Audubon and Tank's Green Stuff, a local business. So there's definitely opportunities to network, not just with your supervisor. And then we do a lot of co-teaching, right? So I definitely overlap with other interns as well, not just my interns. Excuse me. And you'll be able to complete 150 hours of internship work for the semester. So if similar to Matthew, if you haven't had a ton of work experience, this is your opportunity to learn about a dynamic nonprofit and really learn about the inner workings of what it takes to do this amazing work. And I can't testify enough about the importance of an internship. An internship shaped my career goals. And so that's why I'm such a huge advocate for this program, because had it not been for an internship that I did during my undergrad, I don't know where I would be, literally. Like, that was what opened my eyes to environmental education. And so that's why I feel so strongly about this program, because we're giving you an insight into your future career goals. So that is definitely something else that you'd get out of it. And then the weekly experiential education workshop. So I won't be leading all of those. You'll get opportunities to learn from other WMG staff who have a wide myriad of different skill sets. So you'll get to learn from different folks at the organization. All right, we are now entering our Q&A portion. So please get your questions into the chat. We'll be addressing those shortly. And if you have specific questions for a specific panelist, please include them. Please include their name, call them out, or don't call them out, but just say like, this question is for Matthew, or this question is for Trent. And we'll get those answered. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for the presentation, and go ahead, and if you want to put your question in the chat, you can do so. If you want to unmute and ask your question, you can do that too. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. All right, shall we kick it off with the first question? Let's see, let's open up that chat. Oh, people are direct messaging me. Oh, hello. Okay. All right, this first question is, what can I do to be, I hope it's okay that I know people are direct messaging me, but I'm going to read it out loud because I'm sure other people have the same question. What can I do to be sure that I get an internship with you guys? What strengths, skills, and experience do I need to be part of the team? That's a really good question. So for this question, it really depends. We've definitely taken on interns who don't have a ton of work experience. And then we've had some really high level interns who are coming with like tons of experience. So it definitely depends. I would say that as the person who's looking at the applications, I'm definitely looking to make sure that you're answering all of the questions completely and that you are being thoughtful in your answers, that you are just that you're excited. I think for me, like when I'm thinking about the environmental education role, I want somebody who's excited about working with this population, working with youth. So anything that you can share, even if you don't think it's super relevant, maybe you did some volunteer work during high school, that would be relevant. That's totally fine. Even if you don't have a ton of work experience, we're definitely open to taking you on as an intern. But I would say eagerness. I definitely appreciate when interns are really organized and yeah, we just want go-getters. Like it's a nonprofit, it's really dynamic. There's a lot of opportunities for you to do things that are outside of your project. So I definitely love seeing interns that are open to things outside of their role. Like Trent was the Beaver survey guy, but he was also volunteering at other opportunities as well. So I like to see interns who are open to taking on things outside of their role and getting a little bit out of your comfort zone, right? It might not be a strength of yours, but exposure to that is definitely like willingness to be exposed to different things is something that I'm looking for. But I know that we have some other supervisors on the call. Anybody else want to add on to that? Like what we're looking for in terms of an intern? Lauren, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Okay, there we go. Cindy, you said you weren't going to call anybody out. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think Cindy really covered it. I think it's been incredible to work with my current intern, and she's incredibly organized as well. So yeah, and really just I think you might have said go-getter as well. I think that would be okay. Yeah, okay. See, you covered it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought of another one is good communication. So if you're unable to make an intern session for whatever reason, I hate no call, no shows. Like that is like my pet peeve. So just like open line of communication, like if there's something that arises during your internship, like knowing that you're going to communicate with me and that if I send you an email, you're going to respond. Like that's something that I really gravitate towards is like having a good communication with my interns. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's jump to the next question. Do we have to be eligible for a summer internship stipend to apply for the bilingual communications internship? That's a really good question. So unfortunately for that position, you do need to be eligible for that stipend because that is that internship we're specifically offering it through the, I think it's called the Student Services and Engagement or something. and that's their requirement. So unfortunately, like there's no way to work around that. They are requiring that you fit whatever requirements they need in order to be eligible for that stipend. However, if you're really interested in this role and you'd be willing to do the internship without the stipend, that is a conversation that we can have. So I would still encourage you to apply for it if you're willing to go that route. But I'm sorry, unfortunately, in order to be eligible for the stipend, you do have to meet their requirements. And I believed on the links on the website, I did link the page that says like what the requirements are. And I believe you should have gotten an email through them saying that you're eligible for that stipend. That's a really good question. Do you know where the 3 to 5 classes on Fridays take place? Yes. So most of the classes are going to be taking place at the Living Lab and Learning Center. So we are on the corner of Dodge and Speedway, not too far from campus. So most of the classes will be taking there. I don't want to reveal too much, but there are some like little mini field trips where we go on a bike ride, or no, I don't want to give it away, but like there is opportunities where we're going to be going off campus. But we will likely be meeting first at the Living Lab and then going around. So I think somebody talked about this during their presentation. It was Matthew. If you don't have a car, we're really good at doing carpool systems. So there's always someone who has a vehicle and willing to drive others. Like we're going on a field trip this Friday and I'm coordinating the carpool. So don't be scared about not having a vehicle. Like we'll find a way for you to participate in the internship. What kind of qualities do you look for in an intern? I feel like we already kind of addressed that with the first question. But yeah, I feel like we addressed it. How big is your team? That is a really good question. We are a small team. I think there's about 10 staff members. And then how many docents do we have, Lauren?
12.
12 docents. So docents are volunteers who also participate in the training program, but they typically, like some of them have been around for years, like over 5 years. So they are part of the team as well. And then we have a lot of volunteers through the River Run Network, but in terms of WMG staff, we have about 10 staff members. So I invite you to check out our staff page if you're interested in learning more about our team. A little bit about urban sustainable living. Neil, that's a really good question. I wish that Luis was on the call to talk about it since he's the person who's going to be managing that role, but I can speak from what I've seen that intern do before. So this role has typically been someone who can work at the Living Lab, will familiarize themselves with the different, what we call living systems around the Living Lab. Raise your hand if you have not been to the Living Lab, actually. I know some of you are like, camera off. Okay. But I see a couple of hands raised. Oh my gosh, you guys need to come out. It's so amazing. Okay. We just have so many cool different examples of how you can conserve water. So like anything you can think of, we've got rainwater tanks. We have irrigator, so like you pee and then we divert the urine. We have laundry to landscape. We have composting toilets. Anything that you can think of that involves saving water, we likely have it at our facility. And so it's our demonstration site. It's where we bring people to teach them about how they can conserve water and how they can develop sustainable living skills. So this role, the urban sustainable living, definitely is involved a lot with maintaining those systems. So I've definitely seen our urban sustainable living intern like getting out there, digging some holes. I know that Emma, who's in the role right now, she helped with the installation of the tank that is buddied up to the new learning center. I feel like she's also involved with the design of the new composting toilet. So implementing new systems, but also maintaining our current systems. Hopefully that covers it. Sorry, I wish Luis was here to talk a little bit more about that, but actually no, I'm remembering more things. They also work with, so Luis is involved with our schoolyard program. So he's going into schools and teaching how to do rain garden basins. So he's also doing a lot of the implementation of actually digging and planting stuff in the ground. So you'll get to work with schools and actually going out into the community and teaching how to build a rain garden. That's all I've got though. All right, next question. Have you guys ever hired someone that is exclusively studies environmental science? Yeah, we actually, most of the interns that we get are majoring in environmental science. So we typically definitely have a lot of connections at the U of A that work at the SNRE department. And so we tend to get a ton of interns that are environmental science. So it is not uncommon to have an intern that is majoring in environmental science. Are there specific days of the week? Oh my gosh, I'm answering all the questions. I need to kick some off to our panelists. Okay. Another intern answer this. Are there specific Trent, are there specific days of the week or hours outside of Fridays that interns should be available to work? Trent.
That is a great question. It kind of comes down to the work you're doing and the supervisor you have. So for all interns, that's like the basic. Everyone's gonna have those Friday afternoons. And then it kind of comes down to your supervisor. About half of the interns are going to be part of the River Run network that Lauren was talking about, and they typically meet on Fridays, but that could change. So that's like an hour there. You're going to have a check-in meeting that's like 30 to 60 minutes with your supervisor. And so, but that's just going to be based on your class schedule. If you're something more like urban sustainable living or like education, you're going to be in person a little bit more, doing stuff at the living lab. Myself, since a lot of my stuff was planning and data management, I could do a lot of my stuff remote. So that depends a little bit. So yeah, more if you're doing more workshops and stuff on the campus, you're going to be doing a little more in person and have a little less flexibility, still plenty of flexibility, but then you might be a little more remote and you only have a couple meetings you have to show up for. But it's very flexible. Like Cindy said, they're going to make your coursework the #1 priority. So you're never going to have to miss class. You're not going to have to miss like spring break or anything like that.
Thank you, Trent. Anyone else? Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
I want to add, in my case, my role, it's mostly weekends because of family Saturdays. It doesn't intervene with my class schedules, but I try to make it work. I don't mind. I'm single, don't have kids, don't have cats, don't have plans. It works for me. But mostly during the week, it's online, Cindy and me. When it comes Family Saturday, once a month, 5 hours Saturday, family Saturday prep around Friday, and then there's the intern program also from 3 to 5. So mostly I have chosen, like this semester I'm taking 12 credits, but I made it work not working on Fridays. Fridays for me is for WaterWRLD.
Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, that's a really good point. So if you are interested in the environmental education internship, I'm definitely looking for somebody who can make attending Family Saturdays a priority, right? So we have all of our dates already scheduled for the year. Family Saturday always lands on the 3rd Saturday of the month. So like I personally know, like I cannot make any commitments on the weeks of those events. So I definitely want my intern to be available for all if not all, most of the Family Saturdays, because that's really what this internship's all about. It's supporting our Family Saturday program. So thank you, Anthony, for adding that. All right. Is this internship a paid internship? Would it be possible to get both class credit and get paid? Great question. So this is a paid internship. I mentioned that the stipend is $4,500. It's coming through some funding with the U of A through the RISE program. And you are eligible to get both class credit and the stipend. So you can get both. You don't have to do the class credit part if you don't want. All right, I like this. For one of the current interns, how manageable has the internship been with school? Also, are trainings during the summer the same 3 to 5 Friday time? All right, interns prepare. I'm going to answer the second part of the question, but be ready. I want to hear from all 3 interns for this one. So if you are considering the summer to fall internship program, your training would happen in the fall. So the idea is that this summer you would dive into your projects, you'd be working with your supervisor to do a lot of the project work. So for example, like the environmental education will start immediately attending and participating in Family Saturdays. I'm assuming the conservation ecology intern will kind of dive into some of the reading the literature, things that Trent will be packaging up before he ends his semester, and really get preparing and assisting. But your training would be in the fall with the rest of the cohort. Good question. All right, interns, how manageable has the internship been with school?
I can start us off on this one. So last semester, I had a very conflicting schedule between the internship and school, and it was my part of bad planning, but I do believe it is manageable. Watershed is very flexible, like Trent was saying. They will work around your class schedule as long as you're communicating effectively and you're able to compromise on some things. Then I'd say it's definitely manageable. I would say maybe don't take 18 units in that semester, maybe stick to like 15. But I would say as long as you're not overcommitting yourself in either thing, that you can really do both and like have your cake and eat it too. So yeah.
In my case, I got here from Puerto Rico on August. I applied to Watershed. I got accepted. Watershed was my space, nostalgic space. Ask Cindy when I was crying, I miss Puerto Rico. So I took 6 units because it was my first time. I got used to the system. Now I'm taking 12, and Watershed, it's my second job. I also teach at U of A, and I am balancing mostly everything. It doesn't conflict with my free time or my leisure. So it's worth it and perfect.
Thank you, Anthony. Trent, before you go, I do want to be mindful of the time. So it is 6:30. If you need to sign off, you are welcome to do so. We're gonna continue through the Q&A. So if you have a question, don't worry, we'll stick around to get your questions answered. But I also want to be respectful of your time. So if you need to sign off, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure to have you join us for the internship panel. And again, if you're still not convinced, please email me, ask me questions. I'll be on campus this Thursday at 5:30 in the SNR building, room S210. So I will be on campus ready to answer any questions as well. So thank you all for being here. Again, we're going to keep going through our questions. Trent, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, I'll save a little time. I kind of touched on it earlier, but yeah, time management has not really been an issue. My position has a little bit more kind of things get bunched up at once. So there have been some brief times where it's been a little busy, but definitely not more than anything I can handle. Like Cindy said, it's usually about 10 hours a week, and in my role, like the most extreme, I was doing like 20 hours or something. And you can kind of work with your supervisor to say like this time of the semester, this time of year works better for me. So definitely not an issue on that end.
Thank you. I'm gonna allow Ava, I'm sorry. I know you've had your hand raised for a while, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer your question.
Okay, yeah, no worries. And it's Eva, just so you know. So I have a couple things. The first thing is I've applied for the summer program, but if I decide before April 9th that the fall to spring would work better, am I allowed to email you and like update my preference at all?
Definitely.
Okay. And then the second thing is when I saved my application as a PDF, it cut off some of my answers because I went outside like the text box. So I was wondering if you wanted me to send you my full answers, or if we're like only supposed to be reaching the text bubble, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good question. So yes, please. I was like, I half like almost responded to you today, but I was having some issues with my power today. So I apologize. I haven't had a chance to respond to you, but yes, please send me your full responses so that I can evaluate your application on the same playing field as everybody else. So yeah, you can email those to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Let's keep going through the questions. Hopefully whoever asked this is still here. They might have signed off. Can volunteering increase my chances of receiving an internship? It can't hurt. I think like definitely seeing people participate in the panel. I remember people from the panel, and I do feel like it helps. It shows that you're committed and you want to learn more about the internship. If you were able to volunteer leading up into the internship, like that's only going to allow us to get to know you more, and you're going to get to learn more about the organization. So I would definitely encourage folks to come out and volunteer. It'll also give you an opportunity just to learn more about the organization, right? This is a two-way street. As much as you all want to impress us, like we offer so many different ways to get education. And so please check out the list of our calendar events. We have so many cool things for you to attend and to get involved in. This is a really good question. How would you describe the community at WMG? I'm going to kick this one off to the interns. Any one of you interns want to answer this one? And I can touch on it a little too.
I mean, as I said, I was new here. For me, WaterWRLD is family. And I have learned a lot. And I know Cindy beyond my supervisor. I consider her my friend. I'm gonna miss you next semester. So yeah, I mean, it's the exposure of learning a lot about water systems. It's amazing. Like a lot of people, they have a lot of experiences. They have a lot of time to engage with you if you don't know something. With the serenity, with their learning, they will do it, you know? And I feel like if you like that, that's a perfect space for you.
I'll add, like I said, my experience has been at bigger organizations, and WMG's been a lot of fun because it's much more casual, low key. And that's not any comment on work ethic or anything. People at WMG work really hard, but it's not some really intense numbers-driven place with a bunch of business corporate jargon and all that kind of stuff. We'll meet out on the patio if it's nice weather. We'll chat about what we're up to. We brainstorm. They ask for feedback on things from the interns. So we're not just there like grab coffee and stuff like that. Like at the River Run meetings, it's a bunch of staff and a few interns, and they'll ask for our opinion, and it's valued just as much as the staff. So I've really liked that.
I'm not sure I can add anything that hasn't already been said, but it's a great community. It's a great environment, and it's really made me feel welcome. And I hope that it can do it for future interns as well.
Thank you, interns. I'll add a little bit about what the WMG community is for me. It's an inspiration. Honestly, I feel like I've always been I was also an environmental studies undergrad. And so I've always been the most like environmentally geared person, like turn off that light, recycle that. But like everyone I've met at WMG like does a lot of different things, whether that's implementing rain gardens at their home, they have composting toilets, they have outdoor showers. So people at WMG tend to really walk the talk. Like we don't just promote these water conservation strategies at work, but a lot of people take it home and they implement that at home. And I find that really inspiring, because there's always more that we can do. And so I'm really inspired by that. But like Trent was saying, definitely we like hanging out at the Living Lab after hours. And we definitely value all of the interns and their input. So we've definitely taken things that have been said in the internship sessions and have applied it to our programs. I definitely value all of Anthony's contributions, and I value his opinion. And I feel like if he's said something about like, hey, we should maybe try this out, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so if you want an internship that is fetching coffee, this is not the internship. This is, you're gonna make an impact. Your project is gonna mean something, and you're gonna see something result from your internship. So definitely gonna be a lot of hands-on. It's gonna be experiential. You're gonna get dirty, you're going to go out in the field, you're going to get exposed to all of our different programs. So if you haven't had a chance to check out our website, we do a lot. We're a small organization, but we're a small and mighty organization. We get a lot of work done. So you'll have opportunities to gain exposure to our different programs. Hopefully that answers your question. And then Neil wanted to know where I'm at this Thursday. I plugged it into the chat. I'm going to be at the School of Natural Resources, room S210. So again, if you want to meet me in person, or if you have some buddies who are interested in the program, please come meet me in person. And I think we're going to have some pizza, so free food.
And Cindy, if we're looking on a map, is that specifically ENR2?
Yes. Hold on. I think so. Let me find the flyer. That does sound familiar though. ENR2. Yeah,
that's where my program with an SNRE is. So I think the building's called ENR2, and then it'll be the south side, second floor.
Oh wait, I'm like trying to find where it's on the website. Let me look. Any more questions before we sign off? We're way over time. That's okay. If you still have a question. Yeah, building number 2. Any more questions? All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. That concludes our internship panel, and I'm excited to see your application come through. Thank you again, and have a good night. Bye.